Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today I am up bright and early on a Saturday morning and I am out at the Collin County Master Gardeners Association Garden Show for 2024. Okay, so I've never been before. This is my first time. So basically, the local Master Gardeners Association puts on a garden show. This is over at Myers Park and Event Center over in McKinney, Texas. And basically, it's going to be a whole bunch of vendors. I'm literally watching people line up right now, and it's 30 minutes before the door even opens. And I'm like, should I hurry? Should I run out there? But basically, it's a bunch of vendors who sell plants and other garden related items. I'm not really sure what to expect as I've never been there before. They did suggest that we bring comfy shoes, wear comfy shoes, and that we bring a cart. I have shopped at the Myers Park and Event Centers before because I've shopped. This is basically where the vintage and antique shows that I like are typically here. It is all dirt inside, so that's important to remember. Don't wear your favorite shoes. I'm literally brought gardening boots. And also, the bathrooms are limited at best, so don't drink a lot of water before you go, which is important too. Today is nice weather, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get in line, but it's my first time, so let's see what we see. Okay, so it was all very exciting as soon as I walk in, and I promise that later on in the video I slow down a bit. I felt nervous that people just started grabbing plants like crazy. Like this is me going over to a far corner because it was a big crowd and starting to look, but even as I'm looking in this booth, I start to get blocked in by people coming up behind me and wanting me to move faster and out of their way. And then people just grabbing stuff like crazy and putting them on their carts. And at first I started to panic and I'm like, do I need to grab things? Like, how quickly do I need to move? And then I was like, okay, that is not the reason I'm here. I'm not here to just grab things like crazy. I mean, look at this, y'all. Look at this insanity. It was super fun and exciting, but after a while I just started going plant by plant and just really taking my time. And so I really just want the opportunity for you guys to take a peek at this stuff, see what some of the availability was, some of the pricing, and I'll pop back and forth in throughout the video kind of talking about some different things. Now this is something right here. See this person's cart? Do not bring your cart into an actual booth. Leave your cart outside the booth and then walk into the booth. Nobody's going to take your cart. Nobody's going to take your plants. You're fine. But do that because as soon as you start bringing your cart inside the booth, you just start knocking everybody over. Now, check out these coneflowers. About 45 minutes later, after I had actually purchased one of these, I came back to pick up one more. I was going to pick up this one right here, and all of them were gone, completely sold out, which was insanity. Okay, there were a wide variety of vendors. There were farms, there were soaps and handmade lotions, there was decoration, there were trees, there were landscape services, there was compost, anything and everything. This one caught my eye because one of y'all recommended this company to me, which is called the Painted Farm, the Painted something. I forget what it's called. I'll put it down below, and I do end up buying a few things from this particular booth, and they were super sweet and just really nice, and they're very knowledgeable about stuff, which was wonderful.
afternoon
I
shade.
know, not like the after.
Yeah.
6 foot tall.
That's when the spikes come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
They're really neat to see. I think I saw them at Ray Roberts one year.
I just was looking at, someone recommended y'all to me the other day. I was just on y'all's Facebook page the other day.
Hoping to see you here this year. The stuff that I got from you last year has done so well.
Yeah, we're all loaded up.
She's got some wine cups, cedar sage.
Okay, I do think bringing a friend to this would be helpful. Originally, Kristen was going to come with me, but then she ended up having some work stuff to do. I think it would have been easier to focus and then also to talk through things with one another so that you don't feel overwhelmed. This is the point where I start realizing there's a lot more than just plants here. There is so many educational booths here, which is very cool. So I'm going to kind of focus on the plants at the beginning, and then we're going to look at some of the education that they have. All of the people that are the Collin County Master Gardeners Association people, they all had like name tags on, so you could approach them at any point in time, and every single one of them was just as nice can be. Like, no one was pretentious about gardening, or they were like thinking that there were only hard and fast rules. Like, everybody was just very thoughtful and gave really great information, and then they didn't know about it, they found someone who knew about it. It was just a really neat experience to be surrounded by so many people who love gardening, and I thought it was really cool. I looked in this booth and didn't really find anything I was interested in, and I was also surprised that so many items did not have labels on them, so that was a little kind of unusual for me. This booth over here was going bonkers, and it's because they had all those spireas, those double bridal spireas that are blooming, and people were just losing their minds, right? Because those spireas are gorgeous. I have 2 of them in my own yard, and I love them, and right now is their blooming time. They really only bloom for a couple of weeks out of the entire year, but they are so worth it during that time. So let me see if I can get in here and show you all a few more plants.
Those pieces above it are in the glass tubes are peppermint to help with like nausea.
I don't know much about it, to be honest.
That would have been
But
great.
if you want to know about it,
They were 30.
Okay, look at these cute little gnomes and handmade pottery over there. Super sweet. I did take a look at those. I thought they were cute. This area, they were like handing out like bags of sand or something. I'm not sure what was going on. I didn't hang out to check that out. As I turned the corner, this aisle was hopping. This booth to the right got ridiculous. Later on, they basically had a line wrapped all the way around. I mean, literally 20 to 30 people in line at a time. They had quite the selection. I did cut through here a little bit, check some different things out. I was drawn to some pretty annual color right there, which was beautiful. I was really looking for plants that were either something on my list that I've been looking for a while or something unusual. There definitely was a focus on natives, not necessarily in this booth, but in a lot of the other booths. I definitely was looking for plants that I did not recognize. This copper plant was just super cool. I thought about getting it, but then really my coleus does this kind of same thing for me, and y'all already know I have hundreds of coleus starts already, so I didn't end up picking up that particular one. A lot of plants, like I said, I recognize. A lot of them were just beautiful annual color. My focus was more on perennials, so lots of perennials were really what I was looking for, and perennials that were more native to Texas or my particular area so that they would do really well in the droughts. Now, a lot of these places had every single kind of basil, tomato, pepper, all the different herbs and vegetables that you could ever imagine, which was very, very cool. It was cool to recognize some locations that I'd been to. Over here was Rooted In, which I follow online. I've been out to their nursery once before. I believe that's Daniel Cunningham standing right there with his hands in his pockets. And so I went in here and checked this out too. I really noticed when people labeled things for shade. I thought that was fun. I actually thought this plant was interesting, but couldn't find what it was. I couldn't find a label anywhere. And I did think that was neat that there were a lot of booths that really had a focus on shade, and I've been way more interested in that, of course, because of all the work that I've been doing in my shade garden. So it was fun to kind of check some of these out and see what the possibilities were for them, especially since Rooted In focuses on Texas natives. And so all of these plants are native for shade areas, which I thought was very, very cool. I'm always interested in any kind of color. Look at this coral bean. I thought was very, very cool. I wanted to research it more and potentially pick that up in the future. But there are lots of neat things to kind of poke around and look at. It was really nice not to see the same old stuff. That was very intriguing to me. Here's me completely looking at another Aurelia, I believe. I'm dying to get one for the garden, for the shade garden area. It's probably going to be variegated because y'all know how much I love variegated ones, but I was looking for a good price on those as well. Over here they had some veggie starts too. I thought this guy was cool. I mean, it was a lot. So dragging my cart around, I was trying to be really careful because a lot of people were just leave their cart in the middle, and I was really nervous about tripping someone. This area that I'm scanning right there is the Blue Label Farm. They had a whole bunch of smaller starts, which I thought was cool. This back area right here is where they did presentations. They had presentations about every hour to hour and a half. And I love that they weren't oversized, so you could actually sit and watch, and then ask some questions without being crammed in there with hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay, now this area right here was basically just a setup of ideas for shade gardens, and then they had people working from the Collin County Master Gardeners Association, and you could go and ask some questions about shade gardens and their plants, and I thought that was super cool to be able to do. Lots of proven winners, I thought, throughout the entire facility. I kept seeing them. This Brunnera, I thought was so pretty. Look at it. Even that white was like a creamy white, so I thought thought that was really pretty. Now, none of these plants were actually for sale. These were all just put in here as examples so you could come in and like look at different plant combinations together that would be specific for shade gardens, which I thought was a really neat idea, but I also wanted to buy things. So I thought this heuchera was really pretty. I love the lime green in a shade garden. That would just really pop. And it was really neat. So this is where I really started to discover that there was a lot more education happening going on. I liked these peony plants. I stopped by to check them out. I was really excited about the price in the beginning because I thought they were all $35, but of course the one that I wanted, which was the peaches and cream,
much are the
was
peonies?
$48, and they didn't have any of the specs or information about the peaches and cream peony, so that made it a little bit more difficult. Internet is very spotty in this building, so it was really hard to just go through and be like, oh, let me just Google it, because I'm currently on the back row right now in this particular portion of the video, and yeah, I didn't have any internet access. So this was another farm that I really ended up liking. I think it was called Canticle farm, located, I believe it's in Blue Ridge, and they had a lot of smaller starts. They were a little pricey. I thought $5 each was kind of a lot, but they were things that I was kind of not seeing anywhere else, and also things that I knew that I was interested in growing at some point in time. So I thought that was kind of fun. I also liked that their booth was not overwhelming, and immediately, as soon as I walked in, they had 2 or 3 people come in and offered help and answer questions, which I thought was fun. Also, it was really fun because they had a couple of younger girls like running the cash register, so it was really neat to kind of see like the multiple generations within some of these farms working these booths. I thought was super cool. This also had the best information, pictures talking about if it was pollinators, if you could eat it, like just the best information available, I thought, throughout the entire event. So it was really kind of neat to go through this and chat and look at all these different things, and also not have to Google stuff on my phone because all the info was right there for me. Okay, and this was a lavender farm in Anna, Texas, and they make all their own products, which I thought was pretty cool. The people were very personable there, which I thought was neat. I enjoyed checking out the different products. I'm always really nervous because my skin is very sensitive, so I have a hard time even testing stuff. But those candles were gorgeous, and I probably should have picked up some of those lavender sachets to toss in some of my drawers in my closet. That would have been pretty nice as well.
Landscaping and lawn care.
So this area is pretty cool. This was all about the monarchs, and I actually chatted with this lady for quite a while, and she really talked through some different things with me, which was great. But basically they teach you all about the different cycles of the monarchs, where they're going, where they're coming from, what you need to have planted in your yard, specifically 2 varieties of milkweed, and you could actually buy those seeds from them right then. I thought that was a really neat thing to kind of check out and look. And then right beside them, this was, I believe, Society of Native Plants of Texas, something along those lines. I can't remember at this exact moment, but they had a bunch of native seeds, which I thought was cool too. I had fun kind of picking through those and picking out a couple for myself to bring home. And then they had a couple of people standing around that could just chat with you about how to add more natives to your area. I thought that was really neat. It was also really neat just realizing how many of these I had actually seen like out and about before, which I thought was very cool. Loved these these little sheets where they actually gave you like Texas natives for the shade. Like wonderful, perfect. They had the ones for the bees. Oh, it was just wonderful to be able to kind of collect these and already have a list of things I needed to be able to attract those different things. Now this area was containers, inspiration on planting containers, and the theme was the 70s. So there's Wylie right there hanging out, and it was really fun to kind of go through and see what ideas all these gardeners had come up with, and they were all just here for inspiration, and then you could chat with the different people who had come up with these ideas. Most of the plants were labeled with all the different varieties of plants within them. I love that swan with the red lark delphinium coming out of it. I thought was very cool. Some of these were just so quirky. They made me smile. They made me laugh. I really enjoyed going through this area. Look at the teacups. It's super cute. Love this arrangement with all the dark tones of dark calla lilies and the dark petunias. Lots of beautiful, sweet little arrangements. Love this one right here with the Rex begonia. This was all for shade, the bacopa and the geraniums. Very, very pretty, and I just love that combination. I thought that was really sweet and soft, but with lots of interesting texture. Check out that wall-mounted planter right there. Very cool. Look at some of these containers, like with those metal birds. Oh, I was just really drawn to the quirkiness of so many of these ideas and thoughts. Okay, yes, that is an old keyboard that someone turned into a planter for succulents. How cool. Lots of old vintage containers, and look at the Instapot right there that they made an arrangement out of an Instapot. I thought that was cool. There was a lady hanging out here who was teaching about terrariums, which I thought was really neat. I've always wanted to make a terrarium. I've just never kind of jumped into that foray. I actually purchased the glass, so I have the actual glass terrarium, but just never created one. Maybe I need to do that sometime soon.
These are easy. You water them and put the lid on them. I mostly try to do polished. What happens is, I don't think they're getting out well. I'm trying to do like
Lots of bright things to look at, which I thought was just really neat. I came in closer for look at this little clock. I was like, how cute is that? I love that staghorn fern, is it? Piece right there. And look at the little fondue set. How cute is that? Record player. This over here was a galaxy themed or space themed, which I thought was really neat. Love that champagne container with the design in it. I thought that was very cool as well. So this area right here was the kids' educational area, and they had tons of stuff, lots of fairy containers and dinosaurs and cute little things for the kids to kind of interact with. Loved all these bug and insect specimens for the kids to check out. I thought that was really neat. They had lots of books to coordinate with different things that your children might be interested in regards to gardening. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. They had lots of plants worked in throughout so kids could see, and then just lots of real things, real items that are really out in the garden for the kids to check out. I actually had fun walking through this space. I walked through a couple of times, and I tried to wait until there weren't very many kids in it, but truthfully, it was swamped like the whole time. So many little kids having a great time, which I thought was neat. Check out this setup for a fairy garden. Absolutely beautiful, completely sweet. They even had the twinkling fairy lights throughout, which I just thought was adorable. They even had hands-on demonstrations, which I thought was cool. All of these books were set out so that you can look them up and order them for your home and to share with a sweet little kiddo that might be interested in gardening. That was very cool as well. Now, this whole booth was about propagation, which I thought was super fun. Starting seeds from, or starting seedlings from cuttings, all different things. Lots of little intricate things in here. You could see what a lot of brand new seedlings started at or look like, and some different ways that things are propagated. And it seems like they even have, in October, they're doing a whole course on propagation that I might go check out. Now, I started looking at the seedlings and I was intrigued by these little like spike things that are holding them up. And so I ended up asking the lady what they were, and they are bamboo toothpicks. So I now own a couple hundred of them. They were super cheap on Amazon. I just loved how they put them in there and that they were holding up these kind of wonky or leggy seedlings instead of them kind of falling over and breaking on the side. Can you tell me what these are that are holding up the seedlings? Those little, like what these little things are?
Those are milkweeds. You mean this?
Yeah, that.
Someone, I don't know where she got
What a
them
great
from.
idea so that they don't flop over.
Let me ask her.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that was a lot of fun. It was totally different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be mostly plants, like shopping for plants. It was actually a lot of education, which I was very excited about. I had a lot of time going through. I talked to people who are specialists on monarchs, on wildflowers, on natural landscapes. They had booths that were teaching about propagation. They had booths that were showing like different container ideas. They had a children's area and like a scavenger hunt for the entire event for kids. Like, it was very, very cool. Okay, it's starting to rain. I got to shift. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Now we're out of the rain. Okay, so it was a great place for kids to come. Lots of scavenger hunts, and like all the volunteers work for the Collin County Master Gardeners Association. And they were all there helping. It was literally like the ladies running the kids area. It felt like grandma was teaching the kids. It was wonderful, really fun stuff. They even had an area where they were showing like how water like cuts through your landscape, and it was very, very cool. I could have spent probably at least another hour and a half to 2 hours there if I had had more time. I really, really enjoyed it. They also had a lot of different like seminars set up where they were doing different presentations, and it was very cool. So they do this, and then in April, they have a plant sale where the Collin County Master Gardeners sell plants. And I think that their focus is mainly like natives and such, but it's a huge plant sale. Apparently, I'll put the dates down below. You get there early and they're usually sold out by 1 p.m. because the prices are amazing. So I'm going to try to go to that as well. But let me talk to you all a little bit about what I ended up purchasing and where. So I ended up purchasing some milkweed seeds from the Monarch Watch and the Monarch Joint Venture. And it's 2 varieties of milkweed seeds. One is antelope horns milkweed, and then the other one is green milkweed. So I'll probably be trying both of these out. It came with instructions, the whole thing. So I'm excited to give those a try. And then I bought a couple of other seed packets that are good for native pollinators in this area. The first one is Rattlesnake Master. It's an Orangium. And the next one is Prairie Foxglove, and it's a penstemon, which will be fun. And then I also picked up a couple of sheets that talked about plants that are really good for bees and plants that are really good for the shade in the native plant area. So these are all provided by the Native Plant Society of Texas. So it talks about plants that are really good for my area, native, should be able to stand up to drought, things like that. Okay, so I ended up buying from 3 different places. The first one I purchased from was Puckett's Nursery, which is located, I believe, in McKinney or Allen. I can't really recall where. I'll put their information below. Each of these was $8. I was very excited about Caryopteris, and I bought 2 varieties. The first one is Bluebeard Pavilion Pink, and these are full sun and blooms midsummer to fall, plant in full sun, well draining soil, grows 24 to 48 inches tall by 24 to 36 inches wide, hardiness in zones 5 to 9. And I was really excited about this because I've seen lots of Caryopteris, but it's in like 3-gallon containers. And y'all know I don't like to dig big holes. This is a 1-gallon container, so I was really excited. It is a perennial in my area, so I'm excited to do that one. The other variety of penstemon that I picked up is Bluebeard Pavilion Blue, so it's like a purple tone. And this guy is all the same stuff, about 24 to 48 inches tall by 24 to 36 inches wide. And it's also in hardy zones 5 through 9. So really excited to give those a try. These are really, really great for pollinators, but they're also really good as cut flowers apparently. So I'll be excited to give those a try. The next one that I got from Puckett's is I got a Greg's Mist flower. This particular one is kind of like a light pink kind of color. It's Eupatorium Gregi. Full sun to part sun, hardy zones 7 to 10, blooms late spring to mid fall. Which would be amazing. It gets to about 18 inches tall, and it does say it needs to be watered 2 to 3 times per week. And this is a perennial, so it should be coming back year after year. And then the last thing I got from Puckett's was a coneflower. This coneflower is an Echinacea Double Scoop Raspberry Deluxe. It is full sun. I grow a lot of cut flowers, coneflowers in my garden, and so I thought adding this guy would be really, really fun. So I'm really excited to see how that ends up. Okay, the next one I bought from a farm I bought from is the Painted Flower Farm in Denton, Texas. And they were really nice and extremely knowledgeable. That was probably one of the best things about all of this is every single booth I went in was extremely knowledgeable, which was super cool. So the first thing I got was a coralberry, which is an East Texas native, a deciduous shrub that forms low thickets and small ovular leaves, blooms white and pink flowers in spring and summer, fruits tiny coral berries in fall, attracts birds, prefers partial sun to shade, and tolerates various soil types. Grows 3 to 4 feet tall by 4 to 8 inches wide and spreads by stolons, which I'm not familiar with. Ideal for erosion control and woodland gardens. It is hardy in zones 2 to 7. So this will be more of an annual in my garden. So what I'm going to do is it's going to go in the shade garden. I'm going to plant it in a planter, in a container, and then during the winter, I'm going to move this out into maybe my greenhouse or inside to overwinter so that I can redo it again for next year. I paid $16.99 for this container. Okay, now regarding prices, some of these are a little bit more pricey than others, but they were coming from small businesses, from small farms local to my area. And there's something about the level of quality getting it, a plant that is grown in my area, that is already used to my area, and supporting small business and small farmers in my area. So I was happy to pay a few extra dollars for that reason. I also picked up from the Painted Flower Farm, I picked up Fall Obedient plant, so Texas native, unbranched, spikes of green leaves hold position when manipulated, tubular pink to lavender flowers at end of long stems, bloom June to October, prefers full sun to part shade and moist, well-draining soil, and adapts well to many types of soil, attracts butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds, grows up to 3 to 4 feet tall by 2 to 3 feet wide, and this is hardy in zones 3 through 9, and so this is perennial for me, and it is what's $11.99. Okay, and then the last farm I bought from was, this farm is called Canticle Farm, and sustainably grown produce, cut flowers, goat milk, soap, and more, and this is located in Blue Ridge, Texas. Each of these containers was $5, and yes, that is a little pricey, but like I said, I was happy to support a small business and small farms local to my area. So I got most of these are annuals. I picked up the Salvia Oxford Blue, full sun, tolerates part shade, annual, 30 inches tall. The plant is, and plant 12 to 18 inches wide. These are beautiful as a cut flower, which is really nice. And I ended up purchasing 2 of the Oxford Blue salvias. I love the look of them. I also picked up an additional salvia called Pink Sunday. This is also an annual in this area. Full sun, tolerates part shade, annual, 30 inches tall, plant 12 to 18 inches apart. Also great for a cut flower. And then I picked up a Chinese Forget-Me-Not Mystery Rose, annual, full sun with afternoon shade, best 18 to 24 inches tall, plant 9 to 12 inches apart. And then finally, I picked up one more Chinese Forget-Me-Not. This is Firmament Blue, annual, full sun with afternoon shade, best 18 to 24 inches tall, plant 9 to 12 inches apart. And each of these containers was $5, so a little pricey for that, but you know, I felt good, like I was saying, supporting a local farm. You know, you could probably buy a set of seeds for $5 and make 20, 30 plants, but you know, this is fun too. It was really exciting to kind of see some different things. And the salvias, the Oxford Blue and the Pink Sunday, I was really excited about. I've wanted to grow those from seed for a while, so this is kind of cool that I'm able to just try these out, see if I like them before I go through the whole process of starting them from seed. Anyway, it was a really good day. It was very inspiring to see how many people were there. It was really inspiring to walk through the different booths and learn about some of the different education. I think next year I would try to make sure I had the whole day off so that I could actually sit in some of the presentations. I think that would have been really fun to do. And I will be participating. I'm going to go to their annual sale or their plant sale that they do in April. So I'll try to give you guys a heads up regarding that as well so that you can go. I did not give you a heads up on this one. I'd never been. I'd know nothing about it. And it was literally on a whim yesterday that I saw it on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I'll go over there and check it out. Love it. It is going to be one of my permanent ones that I go to every year. They also do a sale in the fall, which is very exciting. All right, you all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tour going to see the garden show for the Collin County Master Gardeners Association. Very exciting. Now I'm going to get on their website and watch for all of their events because this was super cool to go to. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. I really think it was fun. I got to meet a few people at the garden show today. Several of you waved or said hi or asked for a photo, and a couple of y'all stood around and chatted with me for a little bit, which was really, really fun. Big shout out to Lisa, who actually is a member of the Master Gardeners Association of Collin County, and that was really cool to meet you. And then one guy stood out in particular. His name was Doug. He said that I inspired him to get started on gardening, which is very cool. So awesome, Doug. Happy to see you guys there. And then all the other lovely people that I met. It was really good chatting with all of you all. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.